guys, what's going on everybody? It's Anthony here, Commander Stick RC, back in my RC station again here today for another bench video. I have a couple of M2C upgrade parts here on the bench. We're going to take a closer look at them in just a little bit. Today I'm going to be swapping bumper on one of my hybrid truck here. I have been using this T-Bone Racing front bumper for quite a long time, and as you can see, this thing has taken a whole lot of beating, and I think it's about time for me to replace this and mount something better. I'm going to be swapping it with one of the EXB front bumper here. I believe this one is specifically for the Crayon 6S EXB. Big props to Arma for giving us a better front bumper support this time around. I'm a huge fan of this EXB front bumpers. They don't only look good, but they are actually a pretty awesome, pretty solid bumper options out there. It has a pretty similar function just like the T-Bone Racing and the RPM bumpers, with this dedicated skid plate at the bottom that we know and love. So like I said, I'm a huge fan of this EXB front bumpers, so I'm gonna be swapping to this in a little bit. And the other thing I'm gonna be doing here, guys, is that I have a couple of backflip tires here with a strip and rounded hex. This is the 6S Outcast backflip tire, and we have a backflip LP right here, or the 4S Outcast tire. So like I said earlier, I have strip and rounded the hex at the bottom. I'm not sure if the camera can actually capture this or see this properly, but yeah, I have strip and rounded the hex at the bottom, as you can see. So I'm going to be installing something to extend the life of these tires instead of throwing it away and buying a new set or a new pair. So this is going to be something interesting, and I'm actually excited about that. Alright, so let's take a look at some of these M2C Racing upgrade parts that I have on the bench here and see what they're all about. Big shout out to M2C Racing, Mitch and Avery Looper for sending this up for me to try out today. First up, we have the EXB front A-block right here, part number 3595. So this EXB front A-block is what we would need to mount the EXB front bumper here, guys. And next up, we have some hinge pins here. This is the captured one-piece hinge pins, part number M2C 3510. So we also need this hinge pins right here, along with the EXB front E-block to properly mount the EXB front bumper here, especially if you are already running an M2C Racing front locking suspension mounts like what I have here. Let me take out this body real quick. So as you can see right here, I am already running an M2C front locking suspension mount. So basically this pieces right here, the front A-block basically just replace your existing A-block right here on your locking suspension mounts, and this hinge pins as well also replaces your existing hinge pins on your locking suspension mounts. You might be wondering and asking, why do we need to replace this existing hinge pins here on your locking suspension mount to mount an EXB front bumper? So let me explain that a little bit deeper, the reason why we need this hinge pins right here. So this locking suspension mounts right here, if you are not aware, is captured on both ends, meaning it is captured by two nuts in the front of the A-block right here, so you can see. It's also captured by two nuts in the back in front of the B-block. So what's happening is that, let me actually flip this truck so I can actually show you what I'm talking about here. So here's what I'm talking about, guys. Here is the nut that is in front of the B-block. So basically what's happening is that it's kind of getting in the way, and it's preventing you from capturing these two nuts that comes at the bottom right here. So if you look at this EXB front bumper here, the skid plate has these two holes that matches these two holes on the chassis. So you would line that up like so, and you would use two M3 screws to mount this, and you would capture it with a nut in front on top of the chassis. So that is where this hinge pins comes in. This is actually slightly modified, as you can see. I don't know if the camera can actually capture this properly, but it has skinnier heads that will give you a proper clearance. This will give you a proper clearance of using a nut to capture these two screws that comes from the bottom. So I just wanted to point that out and explain that to you guys, and that's the reason why we need this modified hinge pins to properly mount this skid plate at the bottom right there. So again, I just wanted to explain that to you guys, the reason why we need that modified hinge pins. Alright, so next up, what we have here is pretty much the whole kit. This is EXB front locking suspension mounts with the EXB front A block, like what we have here. So you can see we also have the B block and the modified hinge pins, which what we have here as well. And of course, it comes with all the necessary hardwares that you need to properly mount this. So if you have a Korean 6S EXB or the Outcast 6S EXB RTR or the Italian 6S EXB RTR, and you're looking at upgrading to M2C front locking suspension mount, this would be the proper kit for it. So alright, so next up, the next kit that we have here is probably the best kit that came out of M2C. Oh, I would say one of the best, because M2C has been pushing some amazing upgrade parts out here, especially for the ARMA vehicles, for the ARMA trucks. And they recently just started pushing some amazing upgrades for the Traxxas X-Max. Props to M2C Racing, man, because without them we won't be able to really push our rigs to beyond its stock capabilities. So you know, it's one thing to make upgrade parts, it's another thing to create something from scratch that will really help you make the most out of your vehicle. And this kit right here is an example of that. Basically, this kit right here will pretty much extend the life of your strip and rounded hex tires instead of throwing it away and buy a new pair or a new set. You know, this is one of the kit where you definitely want to keep at least one or two in your toolbox, you know, just in case. I can definitely see myself installing one of these if I end up rounding my tires during my bash. So again, props to M2C Racing for such an amazing creation right here. This is such a game changer. Talk about innovation right here. What I'm gonna do now is install this EXB front bumper on my truck here. I'm gonna have to disassemble this front end here. I'm also going to speed up the process, and then I'll bring you back and I'll show you what that looks like once everything is installed and put back together. Alright guys, it's done. As you can see, everything's put back together. I got my EXB front bumper installed on here pretty nicely. So you can see, guys, I just wanted to show it to you before I put the front bumper support here. The installation actually went pretty well. Very straightforward, to be honest with you. There's really nothing to it. The old A block that I just pulled out, that I just replaced. And as you can see, this EXB front A block went in there perfectly. The fitment's perfect. I had no any issues mounting that in there. And here are the hinge pins, the old hinge pins that I replaced, and I actually went in there perfectly as well. And the only challenging that I have encountered was this right. Hopefully I can show this to you properly. It was a little bit of a challenge capturing these two M3 screws here with the nut on top of the chassis. As you can see, it's a little bit of a tight space in there, but again, this modified hinge pins help quite a lot to give you a proper clearance right there to really align this nut to capture these two screws properly. So as you can see right there, it's sitting in there perfectly. There you have it. So yeah, as you can see, everything's looking good. I'm really digging this EXB front bumper, guys. I love how it kind of curves on both ends right here, and it has that really nice transition from the top all the way to the skid plate, as you can see. So yeah, that looks pretty cool. Alright guys, so the last thing we have to do now is just mount the front bumper support here, and I'm gonna be mounting one of 3D RC's front bumper support here. Big shout out to 3D RC for sending this up for me to try out today. Here's a quick comparison between the stock ones. As you can see there, you can definitely tell the thickness difference there, and the stock ones are super stiff. I can definitely see this snapping, especially that the weather is getting cold out there. 3D RC front bumper support is not only super beefy, but it has a little bit of give to them. It has a little bit of flex, so it will give you that nice cushion on hard impact. I definitely can't see this thing snapping because of the way it flexes. So it's definitely a nice upgrade over the stock ones right here. We actually have an 8S version of this, which I am running on my Crayon and Outcast 8S, and that has held up beautifully without any issues so far. So I'm really digging this front bumper support. Speaking of 3D RC, he actually sent me a bunch of 3D RC parts just like this one right here, even with different color options of the same part. Let me show you that real quick. So here it is, guys. Here's all the parts that he sent to me. As you can see, we have different color option of the same part, like I was saying. So he got some he sent me some low profile wing mounts, different colors. We also have some front bumper supports for the Outcast EXB RTR, different color option right there. There's another one, the black ones. I believe this is for the 3S rig. I'm not sure. He also sent me a couple of high profile wing mounts as well. So like I said, he sent me a bunch of stuff here. So all these parts, guys, I want to share it with you. So I want to do a giveaway. We might have to do 2 or 3 giveaways here because I don't want to send all of these same parts to one person. So we might have to do several giveaways here, guys. So alright, guys, so the rules of the giveaways is going to be super easy, super simple. I'm not going to make this complicated, so we're going to make this as simple as possible. First, you have to be subscribed to the channel, of course. Second, give me a number of how many times I mentioned 3D RC. That's it. So there's 2 things. You have to be subscribed to the channel, and second, give me a number of how many times I mentioned the word 3D RC. And then on the next video, we will select the winner of this first giveaway using an online random comment selector. So there you have it, guys. Let's just have fun with it. Again, I just want to give this away and share this with you. So I hope you find this video helpful and informative. Hit subscribe if you haven't. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.